Your unique story, our global audience. Global One Media.
Welcome to Global One Media's exclusive series as we host company executives who are sharing insights into their unique journey and why you should take interest. I'm your host, Ashley Berry, and we're thrilled you're joining us. Today, we're welcoming Craig Gibson, Director, President, and CEO of Prismo Metals. The growth stage exploration company is led by a mining team focused on building shareholder value by acquiring, exploring, and developing precious and base metal assets in Mexico and Arizona. They're listed on the Canadian Securities Exchange as PRIZ and the OTCQB as PMOMF. Craig, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Ashley.
Always a pleasure. I'll start by congratulating you on receiving authorization for drilling at Palos Verdes, in addition to applying for authorization for drilling at Los Pavitos. Now, those are your properties in Mexico, besides your property in Arizona's Copper Belt. What makes those projects so attractive, and what's the full scope of the opportunity, Craig?
Well, the main reason these are attractive properties is all three of them are in very well mineralized areas with current and past mining history. And a couple of them are actually in world-class areas. The Los Pavitos project is in an area with abundant mining activity in the past and also up to the present, and also large-scale exploration projects, while the other two projects, Palos Verdes and Hot Breccia, are in world-class mining regions with very large mines, or probably future mines in the case of the Palos Verdes and Vizsla Silver project. I think these are great opportunities because, as I said, they're all in active mining regions with current and past production, and we'll be working all three of these projects throughout the entire year.
Sure. I know there's been a lot of exciting developments. Let's maybe talk about the current status and most recent data released about those projects and what this data tells you.
Well, for Palos Verdes, we drilled that last year with pretty good results. And then after that drill program, we did a strategic investment with Vizsla Silver. So we're now gearing up to drill that again this year, another 2,500 meters, which should commence later this month and go into May. So, that project's going to be advancing. For Los Pavitos, we had a couple releases in the last week. One, we announced gold assays basically assay results for the Santa Cruz area, which were very good results for gold numbers, some silver. So we're advancing that project. We also yesterday announced that we did receive that drill permit. So we're going to be ready to drill that late in the second quarter. Right now we're finalizing work on developing drill targets in the other areas apart from Santa Cruz. For Hot Breccia, again, we just had a investor meeting there. Pretty good meeting. We saw some outcrops of mineralized breccia. Dr. Peter McGaw was there, and he liked the project, so he saw some pretty good things. So I think we're going to have a pretty good results there. We're gearing up to do a geophysical program on it later in the second quarter. Also start drill permitting, and we'll be doing geology and sampling on that project over the next couple of months also.
Wow, a lot of things happening. So I'm really interested if we could maybe dive a little deeper into those assay results for those that may not have seen the news release. Can you break it down in layman's terms, especially for those that are new learning about this company and perhaps why they should consider investing?
Well, the Los Pavitos assay results were very good because, as I mentioned, late last year or during most of last year, we developed drill targets or first pass mapping to identify areas where we could do more detailed work, and one of those is Santa Cruz. So this was our first detailed work on any of the targets on the project, and this one we had numerous gold assays over 3 grams per ton on narrow to moderate width veins And I think the most interesting feature there we developed, we're developing two vein systems in that area, parallel ones northeast trending, which is the regional structural trend, and then also a cross-cutting northwest trending vein system. So now with the new permit, we can do some trenching across those and even have more systematic sampling on the system. So we've already developed one drill target there on the project, and we're continuously working to develop the other targets as in the next month or 2 months that we have before starting drilling.
Terrific. That was really helpful, Craig. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you're talking about, you said the vein drilling is really interesting. Is that what excites you the most about these opportunities as you progress further in the exploration works, or is there more?
Well, that's the main thing. For instance, Los Pavitos have never been drilled. We're doing the first detailed work on the project. There's numerous small mines and prospects from, historical work over the last probably over 50 to 100 years ago, some of it. So nobody's been out there and done any real modern exploration there. So we get to, we have the opportunity to do the first work there. And, based on the results so far, I think we're going to be pretty pleased with that. But in the end, all the work you do, it all comes down to drilling. The drilling tells you what's really there in the subsurface, and very excited to be able to drill that project in particular.
Sure. So let's talk about the rest of 2023. What types of targets are you looking for specifically, and how will those plans move you further towards the bigger goal?
Well, we're a pretty recent company, relatively small, but we have 3 exploration projects, as you mentioned, and all 3 of those are advancing this year. We will drill all 3 of those this year, starting with Palos Verdes, beginning later this month. Los Pavitos probably beginning in late May to early June. And then near the end of the year, we'll be drilling at least 1 or 2 holes at Hot Breccia. So we're doing a lot of work. We're fully funded to do that work at this point. And I think all this work is advancing each project to what we want to do. We're not sitting on our heels and waiting for things to happen. We're advancing all the projects at once. It's a lot of work, a lot of traveling to visit these projects, have a lot of people in the field, but very necessary to keep things going.
Yes, absolutely. And thankfully, the weather is certainly in your favor, as we've heard other folks saying that they're waiting for the snow to melt. You obviously don't have that issue. So let's talk about, shareholders, potential shareholders, as I mentioned earlier. How do you expect all of these exciting developments that you shared to impact Prismo and its shareholders?
Well, we were fortunate late last year to, have a pretty good share price and a lot of support in the share price through our drilling program at Palos Verdes. And we actually were able to do a financing near the end of the year, as I said, with the strategic investment with Vizsla Silver, and also a finance with some of the investors in Vizsla. So we were able to do that at a pretty attractive share price for Prismo, and we're fully funded for the work we're doing now. We had a little lull in activity near the end of last year and beginning of this year, so the share price backed off a little bit. But I think, with all this work we're doing, the results coming out, and I think we'll have pretty good drill results on each of these projects this year. So I think Prismo shareholders will be very pleased with the results, and we'd expect to see some share appreciation throughout the year.
Well, Craig Gibson, Director, President, and CEO of Prismo Metals, always a pleasure. Thank you, as always, for sharing your unique story with us. And we at Global One look forward to sharing updates about your great work with our audience.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for listening in.